Ignore the satire in the middle of the screen, but we are officially back on Walter's farm. I'm gonna brace you. We're gonna try and cover a lot of ground in today's episode, so hang tight, because this one could get interesting. Now, the only reason I stopped at Buc-ee's, not Duckies, is because I needed to wipe all the bug guts off my windshield, and I just couldn't wait till I got home. But I'm super stoked to let you guys know I bought this 4155 Rhino off of a government auction for about $8,000. Whether it's actually worth the money and I got myself a beater is beyond me, but hey, 8 grand is 8 grand. The plan of attack is we're going to try and get started with some fall tillage, then we will shift to the winter when we can sell off our dry corn to get as much money as possible, and then transport our way over to springtime and get the startings and not finishings of spring planting in. It seems like a very abrupt way to do this, but I promise you guys one final season on Walter's farm, and I want to make sure I come through with that. Every episode might be someone's first, and it has been quite a while since we've been on this series. So if you enjoy Walter's farm and really any other content on the channel, be sure to let me know by heading down below, smashing that like button, maybe even consider subscribing. I've learned the hard way that the realistic weather mod can completely destroy all of the work you do on a crop cycle. This field and the field across the road being perfect examples. But I have a plan. I've officially decided that I am getting out of the hay business, which I still have yet to sell the baler. But after the fermenting and selling of these wrapped grass bales, the only job that I am going to be keeping is the bale wrapper. It brings in the most amount of money, and I have plenty of bale wrapping nets still left on my pallet that I could justify hauling that little Massey Ferguson around to get some additional money. Another thing you guys have been begging me to do for the longest time is to put a set of duals and front weights on the 4650. There she be. And it does look good, I gotta admit. However, I did end up selling the 4520. It was starting to become a money pit. It had a handful of mechanical problems, and as much as I'd like to throw that time and effort into it, I think I could find something better. And better I did. We'll use the new Diamond C we traded our old one for to hopefully bring it home, but the sheds now look pretty dang empty. Except for the new pressure washer. That looks good. All we have left is the roller, sprayer, and the gravity wagon alongside the shed. We sold off the Vibra-Shank in favor of a 490 wing disc, and that's where the Batwing comes into play. We are going to be mulching all of our crop ground so we can come back through with the disc on top and hopefully put everything to seed bed. I don't have enough money / enough power to really invest in a big vertical till like the Landall or the John Deere, which does both of those jobs at the same time. But I think this will do the task that I have for it at hand. Just need to head south to check out our other possible buy, and we'll see if we get your approval. See you, Walter. The thing we're looking at buying is a 1570 case from 1976. While it may look like the Spirit of 76, it is just a rattle can paint job to make it look like a Spirit of 76. The owner is well aware of this and is willing to cut me a pretty great deal. It's just a matter if he'll let me take this beast home for anything less than $11,000. I got about 10 grand cash on me. Let's just see what it looks like. Definitely seen its better days. But overall, pretty clean in here. Starts nice. He's had it sitting in the weeds for a little over a year. The owner mentioned that his uncle used this as a auger tractor for a little under 6 years. Other than that, it just piddled around his farm until he decided to store it away in the tree line. Said his uncle was very patriotic, and while he couldn't afford the actual Spirit of 76, decided to make his own to show off his love for America, but also catch the neighbor's eye and try to get them to want to buy it from him. Can't really blame the guy. Didn't really do too bad of a job, but I got some negotiating to do to see if we can come home with this case. I gotta hand it to myself. I'm pretty proud. $8,000 later, and we have a replacement tractor for our 4520. It is rumored that the tractor does leak oil pretty bad. Just make sure we have a couple quarts on hand, and I think it will fix itself. Not really, but that's what I'm gonna hope. With 2 main workhorses back on the farm, that means I got some work to do. But we always got time for Walter. Walter, how you doing?
What's up, kiddo?
It's been a while. What's a good word?
Let me tell you an interesting thing about crop rotation. Did you know that this farming technique dates back thousands of years? Ancient farmers already recognized the importance of alternating crops in a particular field to maintain soil fertility. prevent soil erosion, and control diseases.
That's some really great information to know. I just would like to know how long it took them to realize this through trial and error. Good chat with you, Walter. We'll see you later. Bambi is running circles in the field. I repeat, Bambi is running circles in the field. Just gonna go ahead and sell my baler. I meant to do this earlier, but I did not get to it. How's the garden? Looking nice? And at some point, I'm gonna have to get the combine cleaned out for the winter, along with the rest of the fleet. If you haven't picked up on it yet, you probably should go check out my buddy Andy and his soap. Seriously, you can get it at any John Deere dealer. I've already done a PTO test with this mower. Everything seemed to be good. We topped off all of the gearboxes with fresh oil. Who knows when the last time the government decided to actually maintenance one of these? Let's get that turned on, and we will shred away. I'll run a lap around the edge myself just to kind of see how the mower works, and then we'll probably throw Andy in the cab, or whoever is able to come out and help. I don't know / think I'm going to be able to get a irrigation system for each of these farms. The finances just don't seem like they're going to be in my favor. On a happier note, I did see a joke the other day revolving around once a field is harvested. Somebody said the first thing they do is go and grab the mulcher or the rotary mower and they go mow the field edges. But I'm just kind of devastated on how much corn I lost this year because of moisture. This ground was perfectly maintained. We had all of the right nutrients. The only thing we lacked was the moisture. I'll let you guys down in the comments help me decide this. We still have $285,000 we need to pay back the bank before we are in the green. So for our next video, which would be sometime around late spring or early summer, do we invest another chunk of loan into a irrigation system to try and maintain and better the crop's potential? Or do we bite the bullet and just try to hold out that the rain will prosper and we don't have to worry about moisture? If you can recall from Bucked Up Farming, it costs us $85,000 a pivot for a 3-section. I don't think I need a 3-section, but it's still 40 grand each for even a 1-section pivot. Regardless of the outcome, we're looking at least $100,000 to fix my irrigation problem, whether I want to or not. You know what to do? Head down below. Now, who is going to be... Oh, it's going to be my wife. Okay. Have fun, honey. I got to get this set up. I don't know why I have that hired helper tool where we can have our actual hired hands, but it's not working right now, and I don't really want to take the time to fix that. This should be pretty straightforward. I'm really hoping when we go to transport grain with a full wagon, we don't have those slippage problems that we had earlier because we didn't have A, any weight on the back tires, and B, the duals. I'm going to test my hypothesis that if I mulch the front and then disc the back, this then becomes seed bed. Yeah! I knew I could count on this. Man, she is moving down there. She's already almost halfway around. The only other things I could do right now while my wife is out doing the mulching is let's get these bales all stacked up on the Diamond C, so when we are ready to take them to market, there is no ifs, ands, or buts of what's happening. They're just ready to sell. I still feel bad I have not come through with my other promise, which was putting a Massey Ferguson on the Bucked Up farm. We obviously all know what happened at the auction video where Grant screwed me out of an entire hay setup, but I think I saved myself financially by not getting completely ripped off. Really, other than this tractor, I don't have a strong opinion or really a liking for Massey Ferguson. There's nothing against them, they're just not my first choice. I'll tell you what, this bale wrapper makes for a really nice counterbalance. A big reason why I'm getting out of the silage bale industry is unlike the Bucked Up hay farm back in the day, I do not make the buku bucks that I once used to. There's a lot more time involved in this occupation that hardly brings a profit or really anything to the table. Other than the contracts of bale wrapping, there's just no money in it. I don't know if I'm going to have the reach, but I think this will just stack perfectly right in the middle. Trying to judge my finances, what I'm hoping to be at by the end of the winter is somewhere in the mid 150,000 range. I might have enough to invest in at least one big pivot and choose the bigger of the two plots, which might be these three, but this one might fit a pivot better unless I set one somewhere down in this area and it spreads a half rotation over the whole course of this plot. I'm sure I'll figure something out. The mulcher's doing a really good job. It's knocking stocks nicely. Just go ahead and throw that control strap, and that should be ready to go to market once it's all fermented. Slightly odd question, but do we have any bale wrapping contracts? Doesn't look like it. Could do some spraying, but I already got rid of my mower, so that is not an option. Well, yes, I could get started with the disking. I kind of need to run the up and downs before I run the headlands, so we're just going to run the mulcher for a little bit. Without having the hay operation, having another tractor kind of seems a little pointless, but this opens up the abilities to make more money through contracts than it does anything. This tractor registers, I think, at 148 PTO horsepower, which is still less than the 4850, but they're definitely playing toe-to-toe with each other. If it really comes down to it, this tractor could be the one we put on the gravity wagon. That way we don't have to take the duals off of that tractor, and each one can pretty much be specialized to its own implement. I think this is the very first time I've ever used a quote-unquote mulcher to chop stalks. A lot of the times I had the Stockmaster on my deer corn headers, so I got rid of the stalks anyway. Not sure how most of you guys will get rid of yours unless you do no-till, then I know you don't do anything with them. If you need me, I'll just be mulching away. Wow, that looks great. It's amazing how flat this place looks when you take down all the corn. There's still plenty to do. We'll catch a little bit of action over with the disc if I can get that from Daryl. And then we will see you guys later in January when we're able to start selling off some of that corn. If I wanted to be more specific, I meant dry corn, as all of that is currently in the dryer at the co-op. The Starfire system was probably one of the best investments I made for this tractor. The other series we have this disc on is the old school, and I really do love it. I didn't even notice it, but the plot I had Daryl go and knock out happened to turn that to seedbed. What happened down here? There is no way he's already done. Looks like he just kind of got hung up on a power pole. I do gotta say, this tractor looks completely different with the sets of duals. Not like I thought it wouldn't, but it truly does look like a night and day difference. In my opinion, I think it's time we get to selling some dry corn. Since we bought the tractor, I never really gave it an official clean down, and before we go and try and sell the corn, I think it might be nice to show our love for America and give it a nice little scrub down. I tell you what, this pressure washer is an absolute unit. Man, that rattle can really didn't turn out that bad. Now we can deliver grain in style. Except it's like 34 degrees out, so we gotta make sure the door joints don't freeze shut. It didn't really make any sense to take this tractor over the deer. The deer is heavier, the deer is faster, the deer also probably wouldn't veer right into the front of a UPS truck. Trying to think how many loads we have to transport out. That's not as much money as I thought I was gonna get. But it is what it is. Ooh, I still have silage. That's only worth $7,500. I'm only looking at about 60 grand, aren't I? Think that'll be about 5 loads? Gotta find where the best place to sell is. Yikes, I'm gonna have a trek in front of me. As long as it isn't a pain in the butt, should get a half-decent paycheck. Not too shabby. Now I just gotta do that 4 more times. I should see if I can rent a truck to do all this, but that kind of ruins the fun of the adventure. I'm also wasting a bunch of fuel, but that's besides the point. Loading 4 and dumping a rather small 5. That puts us over $50,000. Now I gotta look into lime application and technically anhydrous work. Everything's just so expensive, ain't it? Guess I can haul those last load of silage bales in since those are officially dried off, and then I'll figure out what I gotta do to get ready for spring. I really hope this bale stack holds. Realistically, this is how somebody straps one of these loads down because the bales are not moving, but this is Farm Sim. I could just turn left and the top bale decides to go flying 3 miles to the left. If that is not the most true statement you've ever heard, then I don't know what game you're playing. If the bales start acting finicky, I'm definitely just gonna press L and strap them all, which of course they're starting to kind of do. Of course there's a train. Why wouldn't there be a train? No! I didn't even get hit by the train and it fell apart. It was looking so pretty. Somebody call Kraft. I think their marshmallow order is going to be a little late. And this is the part where we stay in the interior camera so we don't have to see the monstrosity that's behind us. Oops, did I just show that camera out loud? Don't mind me, just here to sell my bales. Yay, I cleared 60. We had 2 rather large snowfalls hit us at the end of December. That'll definitely help us come springtime with the moisture, but I still think I'm gonna have to do something and cough up the funds to get an irrigation pivot, whether it's just one small one, or I just go and talk to Alan at the bank and get a bigger loan and just try to, yeah, you already know it. Either way, I don't think this is gonna be a fun time. I'm gonna go get my order down at the co-op so we can pre-order our stuff and get it ready to go for spring. I just hope that it warms up as fast as it got cold. Seems to be quite overcast this morning, but the planter is looking good. We got everything cleaned out. The closing wheels are set, as well as the row cleaners up front. I think we're going to be starting with our corn operation. As we look around the map, these two plots should be going to soybeans, meaning 7, 70, 57, which we're going to just no-till plant into, 26, and 21 we might just replant into beans. I screwed up on this. Daryl's up there right now doing tillage work. I just forgot to do that. But I got an order of liquid fertilizer and seed that I need to pick up. I just hope it doesn't rain with these clouds, because that would suck to get started on day 1 of planting and we get rained out. My agronomist only says we need about a pallet worth to get through all of my stuff. I don't believe that. I think we're going to need more, but he knows best. It was a very, very wet end to our fall. I wasn't able to get NH3 done before the ground decided to freeze, so we're just going to have to rely on the side dressing in the back come summer. But doing the liquid fertilizer while we're planting should help us offset that by a little bit. We're just going to have to hope it doesn't screw us as the end result. There is our fertilizer. And where is my seed? There it is. There we go. And that's actually a perfect fit. And whether we're going to need more is going to be up to the game. Get our hoppers refilled. And I should be able to grab the liquid tank. Maybe? There, it finally took it. Now this part might be considered cheating, but I think I forgot to update my precision farming, so it deactivated the mod. I'm going to rebuy all the data that I had for these plots, and then just reimburse my money because I had the data to begin with. This ground, I wouldn't suspect it would be that bad. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of good that, wow. I guess I didn't need to do anhydrous work because all the ground I was going to put corn in already has good nitrogen. Maybe not perfect, but I'll just bite the pH. I'm not going to take the time to go spread lime. That's my own fault, but I think it's like a 5% yield increase, if I'm correct. It's probably more. Corn is already selected, so let's head our way over to that plot just across the road at 7 and see if we can get the planter dialed in. Yeah, that'd probably be about the best way to plant it. I'm going to take a wild guess that with the levels of nitrogen being where they're at, we won't have to side dress, and I won't be going through as much fertilizer. We'll do our little test pull. Check depth, and check spacing. 6 inches apart, and about 2 to 3 inches down. But I'd say we're good to go. Got a pretty high seed rate right now, depending on which soil type we're in. I'm going to say the average will probably be in the medium range. We're not dropping in the seed levels as much as I thought we would. While this specific save game does not have row crop ready in, most of the way people plant in Farm Sim, or the average way I would be planting, there'd be so much more overplanting than necessary. So practicing to not overseed certain spots has been pretty fun. Because I have tried my hand at row crop planting with Farm Sim. I wouldn't say I was bad. But if there was a different guy running the combine in the fall, I'd probably get an earful. No pun intended. Having this guidance steering setup would have been the difference maker in 22. I could not plant a straight line to save my life. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. Pretty sure I was just a snippet late on that. That's alright. With this likely being one of the last Walter Farm episodes, I'd like for you guys to head down into the comments section and let me know what was one of, if not your favorite moment on this farm. We've had quite a lot of adventures, and the first one that always comes to my mind is when I went and bought the red Chevy, and as soon as I brought it home, I was trying to find ways to say I justified my purchase. Looking back now, I probably should have just went with the white Chevy, the one with the big block gasser, but we did quite a few jobs with it that I think justified having the diesel. I just don't think I needed a truck that was that new. Wrapping up on plot number 1, everything has been smooth sailing, do not have any breakdowns, knock on wood. Trying to find the timing on when to drop the planter is, I'm still kind of learning to drop it. There we go. Earlier over there, I'd just whip it around and then I'd get ready to drop and then I'd miss probably about almost a foot long segment. But it just irritates me. I think to test out Giant's new feature that's, well, not really new, that you could see the rows that were planted and they were planted in the same ways the planter went. So if I replant the last line, I should be able to have the tracks only show the diagonal line rather than these weird cut-ins of where the planter chopped it off when I was doing these north-south or east-west passes. All the lines at the front of the tractor that are pitching to the left, they're all going to be the ones that are going the direction that I am now. Clean, crisp edge. That's what I'm after. Seems like sandy loam will be our highest seed rate, but just regular loam will be the higher of the anhydrous/nitrogen rates. And that's going to be about all the time I have for you guys today. It might be a shorter episode, but I have a lot of work to do on this, and we did quite a bit. If you guys would like to check on this playlist, you can find the original Walters up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Other than that, make sure to keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh, and most importantly, keep it fun. I shall see you guys all in the next one. This is Rental Man out. Peace.